So we are now being recorded. So again, congratulations to the new selection of RI President for 2728, Larry Lunsford. We also have with us this evening Jose Gonzalez, our Regional Membership Officer for Zones 33 and 34. Very excited about that. And other people I'm sure will be joining us here shortly. So don't see anybody from Zone 34. If there is somebody there and I'm not seeing them, just let me know. But I'm not seeing them so far. All right, just as a reminder for the last call that we had, we always put those calls up on the Rotary Zones 3334.org website. That's the new website address for the zone. And you can go into the ICA effort there and see a recap of the last call. There's a YouTube video there. And without going into great detail about the last call that we had, which was really talking about the end of the Rotary year 24-25, and we are asking everyone to, push those clubs that are in formation into the up and running wherever possible. So, I know that we did everything that we could. I did want to congratulate 3 districts for having the most information clubs in our 17 districts, and that's District 7305, 7610, and 7620. And we also heard the Goodwill success story from District 7710 last month. So that's a quick recap of where we were. Let's go ahead and kick off where we're going to be talking about this evening. Again, I'm playing tech support at the same time that I'm hosting the call, so bear with me as if I pause periodically. So we do have a new team member at the lieutenant level here in the ICA endeavor, and that's Carrie Gray out of District 7630. Carrie, are you on the call? Don't see you, but we're excited to have Carrie on the call. Let's keep on going here. In furtherance of RI's overall mission on growing membership, we want to talk about the Rotary Action Plan and where does the ICA effort fit well? Anybody want to answer that question? Okay, think about the 4 parts of the Rotary Action Plan. Where do you think ICA fits very well? Let me help. Does it increase our reach? If you think so, raise your hand. Does it increase our ability to adapt? If you think so, raise your hand. All right, good deal. Director Eakes, what are 2 of the other areas of our action plan? Putting you on the spot.
Increase participant engagement.
All right, so do the ICA endeavors help with that? Raise your hand. Absolutely. And Patrick, number 4?
I gave you 3. You could do 4.
Oh my goodness. I gave the first 2. Let's get somebody else in here to give the 4th one.
I'll do impact. Increase our impact.
Increase our impact. So absolutely.
Chris,
Raise your hand if you agree that it does that.
Say it's all of them.
All the above, right?
It was a trick question.
So what's the role of the district ICA? Anybody want to answer that? Mike, you want to jump in?
Sure, although I do see Sean on the call here now, but it is to help clubs and AGs and the district in general to identify opportunities for new clubs, whether they be companions that are part of a parent or maybe brand new clubs in an area that needs a club or a different type. So it's most anything that involves a new club or a new club type in the district, whether it's tied to the parent or not.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate that answer. And so at this point, let me turn this meeting over to our esteemed leader, Sean, and he will take us through the rest of the meeting today. So Sean, welcome, and thanks for letting me open the meeting for you.
Gosh, no, I'm sure you were doing just fine without me barging in. I don't, I know about where we are, I think, in the proverbial script. My apologies for being late. I don't know how much Chris shared with you, but it's a story worth telling. I'll share it with you after we're done. And Mike, thank you for that answer, but I'll bet there's maybe more than just yours out there. Because I don't even know that mine completely coincides with yours about what the role of the district ICA is. Does anybody else have any varying thoughts they would like to share? I saw Rich Salon's hand up at one point. Rich, go.
Absolutely. So we are charged with inspiring the troops, and that starts with the district governor, the area governors, lieutenant governors, club presidents, where we can. But the other thing comes to mind is accountability. We're accountable for making sure people are informed, people understand the concept of the satellite clubs, the mechanics, and all the above. So that's where I see it.
Let me go off script a little bit. Did anybody have an answer? And thank you for that, Rich, that they would like to share that may be a little more related to the relationship among the members of the district leadership team? And what's the role of the district ICA with regard to communicating with the governor, for example? Or for those of you that are out there that are governors, Donna Moffett, because I saw you first, we'll flip this around. What is your definition of what the ICA does through the eyes of being the ultimate leader of the district for this year?
So it's funny you should ask. So we have had discussions, Mike Walker and myself, about the ICA advocate in our district, and we have someone that is a current chairman of a satellite club, and so he can speak firsthand to what it took to start the club, what the club does now, and how it operates, and how successful it can be.
Well, thank you. I would agree that if someone is serving as the governor, there's a certain degree of importance and reliance placed upon that person, right? Because Donna, let's be honest, your ICA can make you look very good this year, or your ICA can make you look very bad this year. So, that person's got relative value, and that's what I think I hear you saying.
Yeah, did I answer the wrong question? Is that what you're saying, Sean? Since you're
No,
rephrasing my answer?
no. I'm changing the question as you answer. I'm famous.
Okay, there you go. That's fine.
But
He's a lawyer.
I appreciate you letting me do that, but that kind of leads us to where I think one thing we need to talk about, and I'll ask Patrick Eakes, Slick Chin Patrick, and or Chris Jones to chime in on this. If you're not aware prior to today, there's something that I think that we all need to acknowledge, that the way this Zone 33 ICA program was designed is that the people who are on it, while they may be called district ICAs, because essentially you've got about one person on average that's connected to a certain district serving in that innovative new club creation role. It's very much a zone appointed committee. It's the kind of recommendations and suggestions that a district leadership team, like Donna just described, would use as a suggestion to the zone team. But you're the member of a zone team, even if you come from a particular district. And it's the zone team's, I guess, ultimate discretion. I don't know, maybe that's too strong of language to be using, as to who serves on it. Is that falling on anybody's ears or understanding for the first time when I say that tonight? No? Tracy? You are muted. You want to add anything to that?
Well, I'm obviously a newbie here, so this is all I'm absorbing all of this in my particular role. I haven't and I was very honored to be asked to take on to this position. But to answer your question, and this is what my thoughts are, what my role is supposed to be, is to create a bridge between clubs in my district, and get them connected to the leadership team comfortably, because I think there's too many members that feel there's a disconnect and not understand that leadership is there to help them and their clubs to succeed and to grow, and we are there to support, to help. We're not there to dictate, as far as I'm understanding, which obviously, and I think that is the role that we need to fulfill and make more. It's 5 o'clock, so my brain is dead. Okay. It's way dead. But to make sure that people understand that we're very accessible. That's my
Yes.
thoughts.
How many of you, by show of hands, have heard people describe the district as that ethereal thing that really doesn't do a whole lot for its clubs other than send an invoice twice a year? Yeah, or invite us to events maybe once a year that nobody goes to. I mean, yeah, Rich, I see you almost laughing, falling out of your chair. I hope you're not one of the people that describes it that way, but it's about, I mean, I think it's about generating excitement, right? It's about being visible. It's about relaying to the clubs in the district that there are opportunities. Here later in the call, our director's going to speak to us. And if I had to guess, one of the things that he's going to mention specific to this call is a rough estimate of where we ended up as a zone as far as net membership goes. So I'm not going to touch on too much of that now, but I would ask kind of a follow-up question of the group. How are you, no matter what your role is in your district, how are you finding new club opportunities? Because Patrick Longano, he will agree that whenever the North American Club Creation Team has a kickoff event and everybody gets all fired up and they come out of that meeting and they go, I'm going to start a club. I'm going to start a club. Well, that's great that you want to start a club, but do you want to start a club just for the sake of starting it? Are you already aware that there's an opportunity or a need for a club to be started? Or how do you go about finding out whether that's really the best idea for the demographics that we're talking about? Does that make sense? Yeah.
Were you asking me, Kurt, or Sean?
I'm asking, I don't know that I asked anything yet, but
Okay.
yeah, if you interpret that as a question and you've got something to contribute, I would want you to do that. I mean, how do you in your district find those opportunities? You don't just concede that there must be some and now you're going to go out and build something. Patrick, sure, that's a question and it can be directed to you. What do you find with most of the folks that sign up for step one, think that they have or think that they need? And how does that conversation really go?
Well, I think that anybody that books a step one believes that there's something maybe missing in the experience that they're having, but they might not know what that is. The information's all around. They might not be able to pinpoint it. The people that might be there might not be able to help them. It's just a lack of a system or a way to do it. So I tell the people that I'm working with on step ones that we're training all across the country is you're not trying to close the deal in a step one. All you're trying to do is explain what the process is and then ask them to tell you about their club. And I promise you, if you say, tell me about your club. I've done 1,100 plus phone calls, video calls, and I can tell you that it's almost the same way every single time. They say, well, just like everybody else, since COVID, we've been having an issue with, and you really want to say, no, it's really been since 2005, but you know what I mean? You just, yeah.
Yep.
And then you just say, you listen to them and they're going to tell you all about their club and the goods and the bads. And then you're asking them, if there were no rules, if there were no anything, what would you dream for your club? What, if you could just paint a switch where, it wasn't a hard process, what would you dream for your club? And they will tell you exactly what they want to do, whether it's a companion club, a satellite club, a brand new club, anything. They're going to tell you what they, wow, man, we meet at 7:30. I'd love to be able to maybe do a couple of nighttime meetings. Oh, really? That's pretty interesting. And then they'll just keep talking, and you get them to the point where they're really talking about what they really want. And then what you're doing is I always tell people, I was on the call with me the other day. I said, I don't want you to tell me anything. Right now, we're not going to do anything. I see that CD-ROM just a spinning. You're excited. You've got me excited. What I want you to do is just go away from this call. Enjoy your weekend. And when it pops up, because it will, because you care about your club and you want to do something, to do it, book that step 2 and come back and let's see if we can start constructing that, because you can do that and we can help you do that.
Mhm.
And they will go away and they will think about it and they will come back in that step 2 pumped, ready to go and say, how do we put this together?
Right.
How do we get there? Because you've just instilled belief that they can do it. And that's your job, is just you can help them with anything, even if it's not starting a club. Maybe it's, refreshing it a little bit, helping them with recruitment, doing those types of things. I know everybody on this call is going to laugh when I say this, but you have to be a good listener. All right, go ahead, laugh. Go ahead, that I'm a good listener, right there. But it really is, because they will tell you exactly what they want to do. And it's just fostering that relationship and telling them that you're going to help them. That's all that it is.
Sandy, thank you for that, Patrick. Sandy, I see your hand up. You got a question or a comment?
No, comment.
Okay.
We're talking about the role of the district ICA, and I agree with everything that's been said. And this may come under communication or education, but I think a lot of it has to do with broadening horizons. And what I mean by that is we still have many clubs, at least in our district, that do not know what they can do. They do not know what the capability is, the freedom and the flexibility that they have in doing these things, and not only creating new club options, but membership options as well.
Mhm.
And so, I think sometimes it's a matter of maybe rocking the boat a little bit and saying, hey, you can do this. You can do this. Rotary has taken away all of the restrictions, and we can make this work. It's all about creating new pathways for people to be Rotarians. And so, sometimes we need to shake them up and pull them out of that complacency a little bit.
Yep. Thank you. Patrick, you got something else you want to add to that?
Well, it's tough to follow Sandy Olson.
Yes, it is.
She knows. I mean, I've better Slick Chin Patrick is R&D. I've R&D'd from Sandy Olson for years. But one of the things too, just a quick question on this. How many people on this call have started a new club? Not, been part of it, actually like physically started a new club. Patrick Eakes has done it a ton. You're cheating. You've done it a bunch. Al has. We've got some people on here that have, and we've got some people on here that haven't. But here's the point of this ICA committee: is we're here to help you to do this. So there's Deborah's up in the corner, and we've been talking about helping Deborah. And first thing we do is we all get together. Deborah will be on the call, and we help. And Deborah goes through the steps, and all of a sudden, next time she's like, "I got this, no problem at all." So if you're on this call and you haven't done a club or don't know exactly what it is, y'all are invited. Please, we're looking for great people like you to help us to help us all do this. But if like Deborah is, or like Tracy, if she's out there and she's talking with clubs and somebody goes, I'm thinking about wanting to do this, great, let's do it together. Al's on here, he's done a bunch. Sean has, Mike Walker, the Godfather. of a lot of this stuff, but that's what we're here for. So if you haven't done a club, don't worry about that. If you've got somebody that's talked to you about it, we're here. We'll do it with you and help you out. That's what we're here for.
Sean,
Ross, go ahead.
yeah,
Yes,
if I
sir.
if I could just add, I have not been involved in starting a new club, but I have been involved recently in working with a couple of clubs that were ready to turn in their charters. And I think there's some similarities. And one of the things that has been a real light bulb for me is part of the messaging in doing that, I think needs to be not please come join us. It's please help us create something, be part of creating something.
Right.
And as we're looking at innovative clubs, that seems an important message to me, to the folks that are going to help see these new clubs specifically, is we're not asking you to join, we're asking you to create.
Yeah. Yeah, that's well taken. I've heard a lot of conversations lately where people aren't in agreement as to what it is we're creating. Are we creating new clubs? Are we creating new membership types? Are we creating new times for existing things to meet? I mean, I
Yes,
think
yes, and yes.
if nothing else, I think we're creating options, right? And then that encompasses what Patrick just said. That encompasses what you just said, Ross. That encompasses what Sandy said. We're creating options, whether that be something new that didn't exist before because there's nothing out there that you like well enough to have already joined it, or whether we're creating a more positive vibe in something that does exist so that you'll stay in it, or whether you're just trying to get the word out to the community like Discover Rotary does so that you'll find what it is that you're looking for. And if it doesn't exist, that's what this team is for, is for the people to build it. I mean, that should get an amen out of somebody, right?
Amen.
Yeah, right on. Chris Jones, your hand is up.
Yeah, Sean, I just wanted to make a quick comment, a little bit of history here about why this whole group got started. Patrick Eakes and I were the OGs, the originals of this ICA endeavor in Zone 33. And we, with the help of Patrick Longano, we really took our zone to #1 in all of North America in creating these new clubs. And we did this very intentionally because we wanted to make sure, as this was mentioned earlier, that the committee was a zone responsible committee. Patrick and I worked very closely with all the governors, but we ended up making the hand selection of each person that served on the committee. That continues under Sean's watch. But the other piece that's really important to know is that as we continue to be #1 in all of North America, and we're still #1 with the North American Club Creation Team endeavor, we've got the most leads in the door. We've got the most clubs created so far since the new Club Creation Team app has been introduced. It's really because of everybody that's on this call and everybody that's in our zone that has been with us historically and that will be with us going forward, that we're able to create these new pathways into Rotary. And what we're doing is we're not just creating new club opportunities or new membership opportunities, we're creating options for people on the way in. And we also are creating options for people that are in our clubs that may consider leaving Rotary. And now they have different options to go to instead of leaving Rotary altogether. So it's a win-win for all concerned. And, while ICA is still strong in Zone 33, we have to continue to think about not just innovative ways of creating new clubs, but what are the different pathways that we can create to entice more people in our communities to come in. What's interesting to me, I'm going to go off on a soapbox here and I'll stop in a second, I apologize, but what's interesting to me is our population continues to grow. Okay. And our membership doesn't align with that population growth. And so what we have to figure out is why. Why isn't our membership growing along with our population? It's probably something about our product that is not resonating with people, or there may be a perception out there that we're a bunch of Romeos. And maybe if some of you have heard that term Romeo before, maybe you haven't, but rich old men eating out is kind of the perception that's out there about Rotary. We don't fit that mold anymore. You know, look at our screen here. We have a number of women on the screen. What we're missing is a little bit more diversity in some of the other minorities that are in our communities. And we need to find ways to reach into those parts of our communities and create club opportunities for them. We've had great success in doing that in certain communities, and we need to continue to mold after that to create more opportunities of creating new clubs for people to be able to join our organization, new pathways. They don't always have to look and feel like us. They don't have to think like us. You know, going back to Paul Harris's day, you know, one of the things that he thrived on was diversity in our clubs. Diversity is so critically important, and that's not just diversity of the color of our skin, it's diversity of everything and anything that you can think of. We have so much opportunity in front of us that we can create clubs that work for pretty much anybody in our population base. It's up to us to put those opportunities in front of those people and get them to join the greatest service organization on the face of the planet. I'll stop.
No, thank you for that. I want to shift gears a little bit unless anybody else has any more thoughts they'd like to share about what we've been just discussing the last few minutes. I assume before I got here, there was some discussion about one of the purposes of the call today was to kind of hit the reset button and start at ground zero and explain some of these premises and principles about what it is we're doing, how we're perceived, how we go about doing them. Did you all talk about that before I got on the call? Even
We did not, Sean.
all right. Well, then shame on whoever it was that skipped it. Just kidding. No, that's absolutely part of what we need to do is hit the reset button. You know, the arbitrary reset of July 1st got pushed. We're now in a fresh year. It's time to get over ourselves if we're feeling bad about the performance. Because other than that, July 1 being the arbitrary billing date, that's really all it is. There's no time to ever let your foot off the gas when you're talking about trying to find ways to grow membership. However, I think that if we're going to dial it all the way back to step one, there's a couple of things that I think just very objectively we need to throw out there so that everybody has a mutual understanding of what that is. These things that we ask during the monthly calls, and we ask you to report on that pesky spreadsheet during the month between the calls is not arbitrary. There's a reason for that. That is the tool that we currently use that collects the information that after the 20th of the month gets a snapshot made of it, and then I pass that information on to Patrick Eakes, who then takes it to Evanston and sits down with his 16 peers and says, look, folks, this is what we've got going on. This is why we're in the forefront of this new club creation among the zones across the globe. So while it may be interpreted as pesky, all the amount of reminders that you get, make sure you go on the spreadsheet, make sure you check the box, make sure you put in your goals, make sure you care. That's very much by design, and it carries with it great value. So I would ask everybody just to be patient until we come up with a better source of collecting that information. If that's what this group decides to do, that's the tool that we have. So with your permission, and some of the people they're going to trigger nightmares about this when I put it up on the screen. Others may be looking at it for the very first time. But there's just a couple things about this, and we don't pull this up as often maybe as we should, that I just want to share with everybody. Is that too small to be seen comfortably, or does it work?
Oh, it's good.
It's okay. This
It's
is
good.
the first tab on that Google sheet, and it is absolutely in live time. There's a couple of things I want to draw your attention to. First of all is this column F, this one that's highlighted right now. There is a member of the zone team that is designed specifically to one-on-one support the district from which you come. It's got the names historically that have been on it for a while. You will see that there is a new name now in Carrie Gray up in 7630. who has joined our team that's going to support districts 7600, 7680, and 7690. Talk about being thrown to the wolves. You know who you are if you're in any of those three districts. So it's important that you keep that person's name in mind, because that's who you can have at least one conversation with in between these monthly calls. The next thing that I want to bring your attention to is that column right next to it, this E, the one that's highlighted. There are still some districts who have not yet identified who they are proposing as being their district's ICA. You can see those blanks, 7570 and 7680. If there is anybody on this call from either of those that knows the answer to that question, I would ask that you shout it out now, share it with me. If you're not quite sure, maybe get with the district's leadership, talk to the governor, talk to the district membership chair, find out who those people are, and encourage them to let me know what names go into those blanks. The next thing I want to bring your attention to is this column C. One of the easier functions on this sheet is to go onto it and check that box next to your district when you have entered the goals that you want to see come to fruition during the course of this new Rotary year. And you can see just in standalones, for example, there's still a lot of zeros on here. If that's your goal, to not create any new standalone clubs, or in this next series of columns, your goal is to not create any satellite clubs, and you still have a zero in your companion clubs, I will suggest to you one of two things. Either you haven't filled out your goals yet and changed those zeros to bigger numbers, or you may want to think if you're the right person for this job. Because if your goal is zero, then you haven't listened to anything any of these fine folks have told you about for the past 30 minutes. So I'm going to guess it's just that hasn't been done yet, but that's very important, especially in the accountability department, that if you don't have goals set, chances are you're not going to reach any of them either. The other things, there are two others left, and I'm kind of working in reverse order, so bear with me. This column B that talks about unfinished business, you will notice when you visit this sheet that there are 3 sets of yellow columns. Those are the number of clubs and respective members of entities that are in the process of being built. Almost everyone's yellow columns at the end of last Rotary year had numbers in it other than 0. So unless those have since turned to green, clubs that have been established since July 1 of this year, they should still be yellow. So I would ask whoever it is from your district that's responsible for filling out and checking the boxes on this sheet every month, go back and look at last year's sheet and see if there aren't numbers that need imported from yellow last year to yellow this year. And then last, but very important, because it shows everybody that has access to the sheet that people are giving it the attention that it deserves, so that it can be created into a standalone document and forwarded to Director Patrick, is this very first one. Are you taking the time to go in here and check the numbers, make sure they're accurate, make adjustments? Maybe you don't have any adjustments. Some of these things, like the goals, unless those are revised, you only have to do it once. The only changes sometimes you'll have to make is from yellow, hopefully, to green, or from blue to yellow. Once you've done that each month, all you have to do is go in and check your box in column A. For a zone ICA guy like me, there's nothing sadder than seeing an unchecked box in column A. That tells me you haven't visited the sheet all month. While there may be no change in your numbers, you still haven't taken the 12 seconds that it requires to go to the sheet and check that box. Yes, Sean, you're in my mind. I think about you all the time. I want to see you happy. A happier world when Sean's happier in it, and then happier when Patrick Eakes is happier in it. All you have to do is check that box. I'm not going to get down on one knee because, frankly, I don't know that at the end of this day I'll get back up. But that's so very important that those things are done. Before I ask if there's any questions, there's one other thing that we need to know as soon as each district is able to provide it with us. And that's the third tab of this sheet. lists the district membership chair for each district, and next to it in column D, it lists the new club development sub-chair. That is one of the newer things that Rotary International has asked be input into its system. Are those 3 sub-chairs within any particular district's membership committee? The one that obviously we focus on for purposes of ICA is that new club development sub-chair. That person might be the same one that's been proposed as your district's ICA. That might be somebody completely different than your district's ICA. If it's the same person, then you don't have to have any conversations with others. But if those people are different, it's so important that whoever is the ICA is having that conversation with that new club sub-chair, because you're both doing the same things for the same reasons. Your name's just listed in 2 different places with 2 different entities. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Does anybody have any questions about what those things are, how to access them, the importance of them, and the fact that Patrick is going to demote me if we all don't start doing a better job at doing them? Because the pay stinks. Everybody knows that already. To take the job away too would just be devastating to me. So let's
Shauna, I
not
think
let
Donna has her hand up.
Who does?
I
Donna?
Donna?
Donna Moffett, go right ahead, please.
Yeah, so quick question. Can you send the link for the last year's spreadsheet to us again?
Yep.
Thank you.
When you
Not this
say-
year's, not
when you-
August.
When
Yeah.
you say we, who do you mean? Because right now, when I send the reminders out, and this is a nuts and bolts
I didn't
thing,
say we, but not that it matters, but
can you send, did you say, can you send us, or did you say, can you send me?
I will take it to just me, but I would think that since you asked us to transfer over yellow
Sure.
from last year to this year,
Sure.
that somebody else might have the same question. Can I look at the final for last year again?
Yes, there are about 130 people that get the P-mails from the ICA team. And those are governors, governors-elect, governors nominee, ICAs, membership chairs, new club development sub-chairs if they're different. You've got folks like Chris and Patrick and Jose, some folks in 34, and then there's this other category of people that are just interested in membership that maybe don't necessarily wear any of those big shiny name tags like I just described. Every month we do a recap of this call. It comes out about a couple days after tonight. It will provide a link to the recording of this call, a little bit of what we talked about, and in it will be the links. I promise you, because you asked, Donna, and you are who you are, links to both sheets and about 50 words on why they're both being included in this month's particular recap, because it is so important that you take the information from one and you import it to the other. And it even has step-by-step directions on how to do that. Plus, my phone number and email address is everywhere in the world. If you can't figure it out, call me, reach out to me, send me a smoke signal, throw whatever it is you need to throw at me to get my attention. I promise you I will take the time to make this work, because it's got to be meaningful.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure. Any other? Yes, ma'am. Go right ahead.
I guess it's important to, transfer that information over, but what am I actually doing with that? Like, obviously, I know I need to take that from my predecessor, but I don't know if I'm 100% sure on if I even remember who came before me. Because if he's actively working on things, I guess, should I just reach out or?
You can tell me right now what district you're from,
Okay, 7360.
and I will make sure that you get an email from me with every one of those answers in the next 48 hours.
And Sean, I can help her with that too.
Aha, Colleen McCloskey, the
You should
DGN,
have me
right?
back.
Right, Colleen, DGN?
Check. That's
Right
right.
on. All right. There's resource number one. I'm glad to take a back seat to that. If either of you would need something that you can't provide to the other, will you please just let me know and I'll make sure you get what you need. Fantastic. Anything else about what we just went over that you'd like to share? I got a little wordy, but it's been a long time since we banged the drum of importance and value on that spreadsheet and thrown it up on the screen. And July's tough. There is a lot of transformation and translation and evolution, and it's everybody's busy. Plus, they all like to try to take a vacation about 3 days after the new year starts, and then the visits start, and then the data's due, and then you start getting email from those hateful zone people. I get it; it's tough, but the sooner we get this done, then it's done. Then we can move forward in building new things, building new opportunities, performing new opportunities and options for everybody, and off to the races we go. Patrick, your hand's up again, please go ahead.
Yeah, I reacted because you said something that I absolutely love. You said July's almost over and it's tough in July, and it's the reason why when I tell people you got about 8.5 to 9 months to get it done in a Rotary year, you don't have 12 months. July, everybody's trying to figure out how to ring the bell and how to.
Yeah.
I see my buddy Charles Allen laughing at me right now, but it's the truth. That's what's happening. Is everybody's just trying to figure things out in July. After Thanksgiving, everybody's planning that Christmas party, so they ain't got time to deal with you until the beginning of January, the 7th, when everybody gets back, and then at the end of May, the president's year's over and they're coasting. So you gotta go hard right now.
That's why you don't wait until
June and November 27th.
You don't wait till June to get ready for July. You start about February.
Yeah.
And unless you really have that July 1 date circled on your calendar, it means absolutely nothing for what we're doing. If you got a new club to build it. Any other questions about that stuff? Thank you for that, Patrick. You're absolutely right. Well, we've got some other things that we could talk about. The team met recently, and some of these things I think are still taking some shape. I don't want to take up everybody's whole evening. Be on the lookout for the next P-mail. It may touch on some of that, Donna, if you don't mind me using some of that space to talk about some of these other things as well. Let's do that. And just in honor and in the spirit of being respectful of everybody's time. Slick Chin, Director Patrick, would you mind if I went ahead and passed the mic to you so you could give us some words of wisdom from the boardroom and beyond?
Sure. Thanks, Sean. And I don't know if I have wisdom, but I'll have some words. How's that?
Perfect.
All right. All right. You alluded to this earlier. It's worth sharing, and I'll get the bad news over first. Our zone 33 did end up in 2024-25 down 600 and change members. So a little over 600 members for the zone. The interesting thing about that is that we have 900 clubs across our zone. So it's less than a member per club. I mean, think about how little effort it would take to flip from negative 600 to positive 600, right? It's like a member and a third per club. Looking at North America, and I shared this statistic yesterday in the Zoom formation call. If you go back to July 1 of 2016 through July 1 of 2025, North America is down 70,000 members. 20% of the Rotarians in North America are no longer with us, which is just hard to fathom. I'm involved with starting the process of redrawing the zone maps around the world. And you can be sure that North America, which right now, well, I shouldn't say North America, the region we call North America, so basically US, Canada, Caribbean, presently has 4.5 board seats. We'll have no more than 4 board seats when we finish this, I'm quite sure. So there are real world implications to all this. But putting all that aside, I mean, we know what the challenge is, right? We understand that. We're here on this call because we care to reverse that. The question was asked before, what are we creating? Creating something new, creating momentum, creating new options. I heard lots of answers that I think apply. And I think it applies whether you're talking about what Ross is talking about, saving a couple of clubs that were on the way out the door, or whether we're creating something brand new. I think what we're really creating here is a movement. This has been the zone where we have seen an embracement of this opportunity for new clubs and for innovative clubs. This has been the zone for the last, gosh, I guess it's 5.5 years now since this launched, has best embraced the opportunity. We need to take that bigger. And of course, that's part of what this North American Club Creation Team is all about, is to provide the resources to all of you who care about growing Rotary. So I encourage you to do all the things you've heard on this call. We need to report. We need that accountability, that measurement of what we're doing. We need your energy. We need your ideas. And I don't know how to put it any simpler than this, but to say that it's up to all of us, and it starts now. We have to go full speed. It is up to us to reverse this trend. And this is the group that can do it. There's no question in my mind. So you have the resources. You've heard person after person say, call me. We're here. We want to help when you want help. Identify those opportunities. Identify the opportunities where there isn't Rotary, there should be, or there's not enough Rotary options, or we need to meet at another time as a satellite or a companion. Identify those opportunities. This group and the Greater North American Club Creation Team, Jose Gonzalez, all of the resources that are provided are going to help you get there. So that's a lot of words, maybe not wisdom, but some words. Thank you, Sean.
Much appreciated, sir. Anybody have any questions for Patrick before we lean towards wrapping this up? Okay, again, if you have a question, don't feel like you have to wait 30 days to ask it. Reach out to that person or persons or others or anybody that you think will have the answer or help you find the answer that's listed on that sheet before you wait too long. Like Patrick Longano said, you wait 30 more days, it's December. You wait 30 days after that, it's Easter. You wait 30 days after that, it's next Rotary year. I mean, it happens that fast. We've all seen it. If you've got a question, if you need help, if you're not sure, reach out to those people. That's what the resources are. The other thing that I would point out is that we're all willing to participate. If you have other club opportunities or district opportunities, you need somebody to speak to these topics. There's a bag full of people on here that can, off the top of their head, give you 20 minutes of content that chances are the folks in your everyday run-of-the-mill club may not have heard a whole lot of before, but could gain great benefit from hearing that first time. Any other questions for that? Then what I will do is I'll give you a little bit of a recap. If you'll indulge me, I'd like to share my screen with you one more time. Give you some wrap-up reminders and dates to put on your calendar if they're not there already. 1 week from yesterday, Monday, August the 11th, is the next MAP call. The theme for this month's webinar is Sparking Membership Growth, Igniting New Clubs. Hint, hint. It's on the DAC-DB calendar for the login credentials. You do not want to miss that one for obvious self-serving reasons. 1 week after that, the 18th, is the monthly Zone Combined membership call, where the RMCs and the district membership chairs and that whole conglomerate of people that includes us will meet for its monthly call at 5 p.m. Then on August the 20th, here he comes again. That is the deadline by the end of business that we would ask that each district go to the Google Sheet, the 25-26 version, and have the goals input, have everything adjusted the way you want it, fill in the names that you're able in the blank squares, and check the box on column A. If we could run 17 out of 17, my heart would be full, my life would be complete, and I would not get fired. So please consider doing that. And then next month's call, like this one, falls after the U.S. holiday weekend of Labor Day, and it's on Tuesday, September the 2nd at 5 p.m. So with that said, I just want to bring a few last things to your attention. Today being August the 5th, is in the United States National Oyster Day. I prefer mine raw. Others may prefer theirs a different way. Do not discriminate against among the oysters. It's National Day for all of them. It is also National Underwear Day. If you hadn't heard, check your calendar. And most importantly, and I hope this is being recorded, Chris Jones, today is my mother's 81st birthday. And this is her, the tall one in the center with the striped top, with my 4 boys. So wish Shirley Sawyer a happy 81st birthday today, if you would, even if it's just in the back of your mind. So before I have a tear run down my cheek, is there anything better for the good of the order that y'all would like to share? All right, then bless you all. Thank you for being here. Thank you for taking the time. I'll tell you my sad story why I'm late. Just call me later and I'll tell you. Otherwise, Chris, thanks for getting us kicked off if you're still here. Patrick, thanks for joining us. Scruffy Chin Patrick, thanks for everything you contribute. Next month, we're going to talk about how this group might relate to the North American Club Creation Team moving forward. If that's not enough of a teaser for you, reach out to me. Otherwise, I'll see you all next month. Go out there and do good things, everybody. I appreciate every one of you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Happy birthday to your mom, Sean.
Thanks, Chris. I'll tell her you said that. She has no idea who you are, but I can fix that. I'll tell her. I'll tell
She
her
can
who-
watch. She can watch this recording.
She's the best.